Well, it's another one of the biggest layouts in the country, filling up a museum with trackage that climbs through mountain passes and spans valleys over towering trestles. All of this in the shadow of some real trains. You'll have to see it to believe it when it comes to this inspiring work of art. We're going inside the Colorado Model Railroad Museum right now on the main track. Well, hey everyone, it's Mike, and thanks so much for climbing on board with us today. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you've likely come to realize we really like doing layout tour videos. At the end of those episodes, I normally ask you what some of your favorite railroad attractions and model railroad layouts are, and one of the ones that kept popping up over and over again down in the comments below was the Colorado Model Railroad Museum in Greeley, Colorado. Now, I took a trip out west to Colorado last week, and while I was there, I made sure to make a very special stop there in Greeley, and this here is what I found. Well, it's a whole lot of model railroad in a massive space. So much that I needed a bird's eye view from up here on the second story to get an idea of what I was in for. Well, the scale is HO, the time frame is 1975, and the landscape is awe-inspiring.
So when you come in the door of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum, you're instantly into a very alive world of model railroading that has sight and sound together.
Meet Michelle. She's the executive director here, leading a team that makes sure the trains keep running and the visitors continue smiling.
So our mission is to provide a model railroading experience that educates, inspires, and brings joy to people. So we are all about bringing joy to people through model trains.
Well, it's 5,500 square feet of scenery and enough track for up to 18 trains to run at a time.
Dave Trussell designed and built this layout, and he thought that only modelers would ever come and see it. Well, that wasn't the case. So as he was building it, he realized that people would love this, and so he opened in 2009 in the summer. So we've been here for a little over 15 years. So we've been growing ever since we opened.
Well, the 1970s time frame allows for a variety of trains to run. Everything from Rio Grande F units powering the famed California Zephyr to this big boy steam locomotive pulling a Union Pacific business train. Well, here's something that you don't get with most model railroad museums: real trains. Well, the layout shares the room with this classic caboose.
So the man who designed and built this was his dream layout. He actually read a book by Lynn Westcott called 101 Track Plans, and it was his dream to fulfill the article, the next to the last one in that book, that said, if I had $1 million, I could build the ultimate model railroad. And at the same time, while he was doing this and raising money to do it, he was buying and selling railroad artifacts. And so our building is full of model railroad artifacts that belonged to Dave when he first started. And one of those is a 1-to-1 scale Colorado and Southern caboose, built in 1919 by the Colorado and Southern Railroad. And you can fully go inside it and check it out. And it's neat because it's restored back to what it should be.
Well, then you can head outside to watch the action on Union Pacific's Cheyenne, Wyoming to Denver, Colorado, Greeley Subdivision Main Line. Well, also on display is this well-kept Oregon, California, and Eastern Railway boxcar. And it made all the more sense to me when I realized exactly why this particular piece of rolling stock is sitting here on these rails.
So you need to know this is the Oregon, California, and Eastern Railway. And Dave Trussell actually owned the newspaper in Lakeview, Oregon, which is at the very beginning of the layout. When you walk in, you start at Lakeview. This railroad was real. But what he did is he connected two towns that never actually really connected. So he just imagined that he owned this railroad and did what he wanted to with it. So we're considered proto-freelance in the model railroading world. And our mountains look like Colorado, even though it's Oregon. And our visitors never really know they're not in Colorado on the layout.
Well, back inside, it's a meshing of model and prototype. Well, this F-unit locomotive simulator plays video from a camera car running on the layout. Well, get this, the trains on the layout can also be controlled from right here. And believe it or not, this whole thing is actually a scratch-built replica of an F-unit cab. The simulator is used during the museum's special programs.
When I have to describe what this place is, we are the interface between the public and the hobby. We are where the public meets the hobby, and we're where hopefully they find something in the hobby that they like.
Whether you're riding the rails or standing trackside, you can see this is heavy mountain railroading with plenty of tunnels, tall bridges, climbing grades, and a whole lot of trees.
There's 28,000 trees. And after 15 years, we're reforesting. So you're going to find a mix of our new trees and our old trees on the layout. And it's a $20,000 5-year project to reforest this layout.
This detailed forest fire scene is a favorite for visitors and volunteers alike. Behind the scenes is one of the biggest staging yards you'll ever find. The yard tracks are about 100 feet long, and they hold more cars and engines than most of us could ever dream of having enough room for. With this much breathtaking scenery, it makes you wonder, how do they get trains from one level to the next? Well, I found out the answer to my question is hidden in plain sight.
You'll see places where there's 5 levels of track at the same time. And when you're in the loops in the back, you'll see that there can be 4 or 5 trains in there, and you don't realize which ones are going uphill and which ones are downhill. And so it gets very confusing sometimes where your train's actually going to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's 138 signals on this layout.
Well, the entire railroad can be controlled with a computer program or with crew members on the floor with throttles.
This interfaces through our
Well, everything is dispatched from this CTC machine,
which was custom made for us with real parts, but it's our railroad up here, right?
Well, one neat feature I found is this system map superimposed at the top of the backdrop above each corresponding point.
If there's one thing I'd say about this museum that's different than other model railroad museums, is that we are the museum of the hobby. Most model railroad museums tell a local historic story. We're in Colorado with an Oregon layout. We're about the hobby.
Well, of course, we want to give a great big thank you to our new friends there at the Colorado Model Railroad Museum for showing us around and allowing us to bring you this tour. Well, if you'd like to check out more of our layout tours, I'll be sure to put a link to that special playlist in the description of this video and here on this video itself. And as always, a big thank you to you for joining us here on this tour of the Colorado Model Railroad Museum. Until next time, here on the main track, all aboard and all the best.